This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, good morning. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, and Chuck Heinz. The day will get started with BYU and Alabama in terms of the Sweet 16 are concerned, as that is a 6:09 tip time. Then it's Florida and Maryland, a 1 and a 4 in the West. The winner of this game plays the winner of Texas Tech and Arkansas. The winner of BYU and Alabama faces the winner of Duke and Arizona. And that ball game tips at 8:39 tonight. And then the Red Raiders and the Razorbacks finish up the night tonight at 9:09 this evening from San Francisco, from the arena where the Golden State Warriors play. So that should be a lot of fun tonight. So man, the Big 12 is going to be highly featured tonight, Jamie. When you think about it, you got 3 teams from the Big 12. You've got a team from the ACC, got a couple SEC teams, and a Big 10 team. So it's a lot of power tonight on the hardwoods.
It's our night to show it off.
Yeah, it's our night to show it off. Do you think we will?
I think we will go. I think we'll go 2-1.
Okay, that's kind of the number that I had in my head. Is BYU the one that's out, or is Florida the one that's out? I have a hard time believing Florida's going to lose tonight.
I think BYU falls tonight.
Yeah. I would agree with that. So the matchups tomorrow night just feature one Big 12 team, and that's the top seed there in the Midwest is Houston and Purdue. The top seed in the South and the overall number 1 seed, Auburn, takes on Michigan. And then Tennessee and Kentucky will play. That should be a dandy, I would think, there in the Midwest region. And then Michigan State and Ole Miss. I feel like that.
I'm confused here, Chuck. Why when we are talking about the Big 12 teams going 2-1, are you saying is it going to be BYU or Florida that loses? Are we claiming Florida as a Big 12 team now? Just because we have UCF, do we get Florida too? Is it a combo deal?
No, I'm sorry.
How about Arizona?
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
And yes,
Sorry.
I'm picking Arizona up to upset Duke tonight.
Okay.
So we don't get Florida.
No, we don't. I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I don't know. I just
wanted to be clear that there's not any Big 12 realignment.
No, there's not. I just had a little brain freeze there for a second, Jamie. But yeah, you're right. Arizona's in the Big 12, and so is BYU, and so is Texas Tech. Okay, so no, I only think one team in the Big 12 is going to win tonight, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
I think Duke's going to win tonight.
All right.
And I don't know that I'm rooting for Duke. I'm not necessarily rooting for Duke.
Why would you be rooting for Duke?
I'm not.
You don't like Arizona?
No, I do like Arizona. I've always kind of liked them. I liked them from when Lute Olson was their coach and moving on. I like them better than Arizona State. Yeah, I really don't have any issues with Arizona. I don't have any nothing from the past or anything like that. I don't have too many issues with BYU. But I'm just kind of worried about what we got going on tonight.
I do. BYU's too nice.
You're not wrong about that.
They're too nice.
Too nice?
Too nice.
Yes, you're not wrong.
They're nice enough. They're up to something.
Yeah.
Like, they're too nice. It's like when you're sitting out in the middle of nowhere, it's like, it's quiet.
You can't.
It's too quiet.
I agree with you, Jeff. Because
you can't root against somebody.
I didn't say I'm rooting against them. They're just too nice.
I mean, in that case, we'd be rooting against Mark Finkner, and we're never going to do that. I mean, he's super nice too. So I mean,
he is the He is the most yes sir, yes ma'am. If I put two guys to walk the line the most, you and Fink would never get off the starting blocks because you would just say excuse me to each other until somebody finally just said, no, you go ahead, no, you go ahead, no, you go ahead.
Okay. Wow, I put in the same category with Mark Finkner.
Oh, there's no question. You guys are. I feel like sometimes you guys are the same people, and I feel like, man, the person that you're both stuck with for a large part of your day, and for Fink about 4 months of his life is me, and I'm like, what did they do wrong to get that?
So I would tell you guys, and I have not long been this, and you guys know this, I've not been the Big 12 rah-rah guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but especially in basketball this year, I totally am. And I'm just, even though, because like the thought of Houston winning a national championship with Kelvin Sampson makes me a little bit nauseous. As of right now, my heart is pulling for them just because I want the Big 12 to look good. I want them to look better than the SEC. I felt like we had claimed, okay, you guys are the best football conference. That's fine. We're the best basketball conference.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of slipped away from us this year, and I want to get it back. So I find myself, and it's happening in baseball too. Like last night, I'm watching TCU and UTRGV play, and I'm pulling for the Horned Frogs. Like, what is wrong with you?
Oh my God!
Yes. What is wrong with you?
They're not in the tournament. I'm okay rooting against them.
Well, I just think right now the Big 12 baseball conference has not looked great, and so they need all the RPI points they can get. That's probably factoring into my mind. But so in basketball, I'm rooting for all these 4 Big 12 teams that are left. No question. Yeah. And maybe it's just that I'm worried that Choice Woodman will jump off a cliff if it looks like the SEC is better than the Big 12, and I don't want that. I really like Choice, so
no, we
want to save Choice.
We don't.
I think he may end it all if the SEC, proves to be better than the Big 12.
Right. Hopefully not. Let's see. Somebody says this: if everyone was like Mark Finkner, the world would be a better place. There's no doubt.
No question.
There's
no question.
There's no doubt. There's no question about it. All right, it's
and if everyone was like Chuck Heinz, the world would be a more interesting place.
Oh, maybe. Some days, right? Some days. Somebody says pick the Purdue game. Well, I'm not picking Purdue. I'll just tell you that. I don't care for them, so I'm going to root for Cougar High in that one. It's 6:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Take your thoughts, comments. We're interested in score predictions today as Texas Tech and Arkansas play, and the Lady Raiders will play before them. They'll take on Florida in Gainesville here, and we'll have it for you on 93.1 Yes FM.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is Thursday, March the 27th. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
All right, going to start us off in 1925. The 84th Grand National took place. Major John Wilson wins aboard a 100-9 shot double chance. It is the first year a tape known as a gate was used at the start line.
Okay.
1939, like 14 years later, the very first NCAA basketball tournament took place. University of Oregon beats Ohio State 46-33. That's a score.
Pitcher's duel.
Ohio State forward Jimmy Hull is named the tournament most outstanding player. 1971, in the 33rd NCAA men's basketball championship, UCLA beats Villanova 68-62. It's UCLA's 5th consecutive title. Villanova later disqualified because of an ineligible player by the name of Howard Porter.
Okay. Wonder what he did ineligibly. accepted a tractor?
Don't know.
It's interesting when you hear about, like St. John's 1939 and Villanova 1971, and some of these teams are still, very prevalent today, and you would think they're not newcomers, right? I mean, it's just fascinating how that works.
Fast forward to 1993. Big day. Big day.
Big day.
Big day.
Big day.
Cheryl Swoops has 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 steals as the Texas Tech Lady Raiders beat Colorado 79-54 for their first Final Four berth.
And she went 36, 10, and 5.
6.
36, 10, and 6.
Yes. I'm not going to discredit her sixth steal.
Which is, chump change compared to what she did in the national championship game. Gosh.
I know, it's crazy, right?
She was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1998,
team on her back.
1998, Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks matchup in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta draws a crowd of 62,046. It is the largest any game in NBA history. Bulls win 89-74.
Let's go. How many points did Tony Kukoc have?
I do not have the box score.
Oh, man.
It's a fail, Jeff. Anytime you're mentioning the Bulls in that era, you got to know what Kukoc did.
It is not National Spanish Pelada Day. Paella. It's a rice dish made with olive oil, rabbit, chicken, saffron, tomato, flat green beans, lima beans, salt water. It's a dish sometimes seasoned with whole raspberry branches.
Salt
water. Yes, rosemary.
Okay.
I'm probably out on this one. Like, if someone were to make it for me and it was like the family dinner that I was showing up and that might be different, I'm not working on making this one.
Is rabbit similar to everything else? It just tastes like chicken?
It's very, very lean. I know that. Like, all the survival shows, if you ever watch, you're like, yeah, if you hunt rabbit, you can starve to death by eating rabbit because there's no fat in it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll make a note of that when I'm living off the grid.
Yes. Some rabbit, okay. All rabbit, not good. You need the fat.
Welsh rabbit gives you bad dreams.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. I need a fat rabbit.
Yes.
Well, those are probably the ones that I'm more likely to catch anyway, right? A, they're going after the food. B, they're slower to get away.
Slower.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Mariah Carey, who is 56. Nathan Fillion, 54. Fergie is 50. Quentin Tarantino, 62. Buster Posey, celebrating his birthday on opening day, is 38. And Randall Cunningham is 62. And on this day, 1836, in a disastrous setback for the Texans resisting Santa Anna's regime, the Mexican army defeats and executes 417 Texans revolutionaries at Goliad. It was meant to put an end to the rebellion. Ironically, rather than serving to crush the Texan rebellion, the Goliad massacre helped inspire and unify the Texans. Now determined to break completely from Mexico, the Texans revolutionaries began to yell, "Remember Goliad," along with the more famous "Remember the Alamo" as a battle cry. And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history, 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I feel like Jamie should read this because he's better at the rapping. Jamie, you want to give this text a read? See if you can give us a little bit of rapping and see if you can do a better job than what Kyler did on Tech Talk yesterday.
I'm really not feeling it. I'll read it.
You want me to?
I want you to.
Okay. Here we go. All right. This is for Texas Tech and Arkansas tonight. No stopping, topping. He's dropping the dimes. He's mopping up the floor and shopping for the basket. While popping in the nets, he's hooping and bebopping. Not at all flopping and hopping out of the gym. While he's flopping, tearing, dropping. We're not swapping, topping. wearing the high toppins. He doesn't need poppin'. He's always mic dropping. No problem hobnobbing when you got JT toppin' and the ladies have moppin'. There's no leading for sobbing. The Red Raiders, Lady Raiders, gonna be bopping down the victory lane tonight.
Can you tell when Chuck ran out of script?
How was that, Jamie?
It was great. All of it. Every bit of it. Except it was a tear dropping, not tear dropping.
Okay, well, tear dropping.
Tear
I
dropping.
read it cold.
That's
so.
a basketball term, Chuck, a teardrop.
Right, tear dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might use that tonight on the pregame show for Fink.
The rap or teardrop?
Oh, the rap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you should do that. I think you definitely should do that.
Bailey Moppin would like that. The ladies have mopping. There's no need for sobbing.
There.
That's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 58 years old. I want Tech to win the Sweet 16. I don't care how old you are. If you're a Red Raider fan, I'm 64. I want them to win. Jamie's 51. No, he's a little older than that, but he wants them to win too.
What? No, I'm 51.
I shaved a couple years off for you.
No, I'm really 51.
You really are 51? Okay.
Yeah. I'm 51 in like a month. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 51 in like a month. All right. We'll see. So there you go. I gave it my best effort.
That was good. I thought you did great, Chuck.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Paella is how you pronounce that. Paella.
I mean, I'm going to trust him, but it's got the two L's.
I know. Right. No,
I got no shot at this. Let's just... Hooked on Phonics did not work for me.
Wouldn't that P-I-E within a capital E and then Y-A be Paella? Paella? Not
Paella?
A?
I'm sometimes not very good. Yeah, paella. Yeah, I think you're right, Jimmy. Paella. Yeah. Well, we got a paella and a paella. We got two different.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really good with the pronunciation guides sometimes either.
I know. I struggle with that too. I struggled the other night in Laramie, Wyoming. I damn near just gave up. It's just, and we got one gal tonight. Oh my goodness. Davion Bendo D Omboghoga.
Nailed it.
Oh, come on, Chuck. Jamie had to do what the one guy from Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think he's from Africa.
Is he from Africa? I thought he was from Hawaii.
Yeah. What about our guy? What about our guy? With New Mexico, was he from New Mexico State? The
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern. What was his name?
Olahide Olaran Timalehin.
Yeah. It makes me laugh every time. It puts a smile on my face. I think I'm just going to call this gal DMO tonight.
There you go. Sounds like a rapper.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
A little bit different here, Chuck. Gonna go ahead and warn you ahead of time. This is the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3, DoubleT973.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Chuck, it would be fair to say that there's a significant event coming up tonight.
Yep.
And it involves a very, very special school. That school is the School of Arkansas, Chuck. And we have hinted, we have joked, we have even reminded ourselves of why it's funny that we're playing Arkansas tonight.
Right.
So, to help everyone that was not here on August 28th of 2022. 2022.
It was that long ago?
It was that long ago. We bring you the full origin story of Arkansas.
Okay, my question for you today, I'm going to go to Red Raider basketball today.
Okay.
By my counting, 13 non-conference games this year for the Red Raiders, if you include the Big 12 SEC Challenge with LSU. 13? That sound right to you?
It's on the schedule, right?
All right, I want you to predict the Red Raiders' non-conference record this year.
Ooh, okay. Let's see, Northwestern. I'm going to look for a hard one. I think Creighton's going to be a hard one. Maybe.
Well, it's a top 10 team.
Yeah.
I would agree.
If they beat Creighton, then you would think that they would play Louisville, and these are going to be played in Hawaii.
Why would you not think it'll be Arkansas?
I mean Arkansas. That's what I meant. If you beat Creighton, you'll play number 10 Arkansas.
Yeah, they're another ranked team.
Yeah, they're number 10. That's where I'm going. I'm going with. I think Arkansas is going to be tougher than Creighton. I think that's just that team, that coach. He seems to be. He's an NBA, Eric Musselman, NBA heritage, with his dad and of course with himself as well. I think they built a good, strong ball club there. So I'm going to say Arkansas.
Okay. So the question was, what was Texas Tech's record going to be?
Oh, I'm
Arkansas.
Sorry. God.
Wow, that was 2022?
Need to put my listening ears on. Man, that was terrible. I'm going to say, Jamie, here's what I'm going to tell you.
2022? That was that long ago, huh?
2022. Wow. As we were getting ready for the Red Raider basketball season, Jamie's question of the day, what will their non-conference record be? And the answer is Arkansas.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good that it's been that long ago, because you had to really go back into the history of this program to find, that topper of a moment. It's, is almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, I bet we could find some closer that were interesting as well. Let's just go back to BYU not playing very well right now.
I know, right? Yeah, that was an epic fail. That was good, Jeff. Good job, Arkansas. And I'm glad we're playing them tonight, because I think of all the teams playing in the Sweet 16, Is that the easiest game to advance to the Elite Eight? On paper it is, right?
Well, just if you're looking at the seeds, but
yeah.
I just feel like Arkansas is one of those teams that it's not that Arkansas is playing above their heads. It's that they underperformed during the regular season. That's what I would say. I think they're a very talented team. I don't think this is any kind of pushover.
Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. A chance to play or not? That is the question. I think he's going to play. He's got an oblique injury, and I don't know which side the oblique, in his case, is on. The lucky lady sent me an anatomy picture, Jamie, of the oblique, and it's that area from your chest, right below your pectoral muscles there. You're right below your nipple on your body, all the way to your groin, and then the rib cage it's on the side. It's on each side from your breast down to your groin, and then the spacing in the middle of the stomach and the rib cage is not affected. So, oh man. So that's Chance McMillan's problem is the oblique strain or injury. So hopefully he's able to play tonight. It's a game time decision, but I feel like this quote game time decision, Jamie, statement is less oblique. How about that? It's more defined. So that's why I feel like he's playing tonight.
Okay.
Let's see this. So you're saying coach doesn't like they are playing with house money? No, I don't think they're playing with
That's
house money.
funny, because I was thinking the same thing when Chuck was saying that.
Robert weighs in, and I'm sorry to hear this, Robert. He's checking in from El Paso. He's going to his brother's funeral.
Oh, man.
Well, prayers to your feeling, Robert. Yep.
Thoughts and prayers.
I am disputing the 2022, but this guy says 2022. I was listening that day. It was that long ago. Man, it feels like time has really flown by.
Well, we could very easily just be certain of this, and I'm going to do this for us real quick.
Okay.
This was the 2022-2023 season.
I'm not doubting you, but I guess I kind of am.
Yep. Yep.
2022 season, huh?
Here's the funny part. We didn't end up playing Arkansas.
Because we lost, right?
Because we lost to Creighton, and we ended up playing Louisville, the team that you also mentioned, but then changed your mind on. Yeah. I was in Hawaii, where Mark Adams had a good time.
Yeah, he did. He had a good time. What concerns you the most about Arkansas, Jamie?
I'm scared about us getting in foul trouble tonight because they're a team that attacks the rim, and obviously JT Toppin's had some issues with that as the season has gone along. Darian Williams would fear me as well, as physical of a player as he is. So I think that's one thing that I'm definitely nervous about tonight, their ability to just attack the basket and also their quickness in the transition. So you've got to really do a good job getting back on defense tonight. And a lot of times transition buckets come off of 3-point misses because the rebounds come out farther and kind of speeds up your transition. And so got to shoot it well from beyond the arc. Everybody knows that. That's not a shocker. That being said, you didn't necessarily the first two games, and you've won the first two games. But got to be good in transition and got to keep JT out of foul trouble.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. It's because just looking at the Arkansas numbers, they've had opponents, players on opposing teams get disqualified or foul out 15 times. Arkansas has only had 8 DQs, and they draw more fouls than their opponents, about 38 more fouls over the course of the season. So maybe that is something to really keep an eye on.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, I want you to look at the NCAA Tournament bracket. You've got 16 teams left as we hit the Sweet 16. I want you to tell me today who would be the most shocking for them to win it all. And I want you to tell me who at this point you expect to win it all. So who's your pick to win it, and who do you think is the least likely to win it?
Okay. I'm just going to double down and say the least likely to win it for me is BYU. Okay. The most likely to win it for me, I picked them, and I think I'm going to stick with them. Auburn.
Okay.
This may be a little homer in me to say what I'm about to say next for the shocker. Arkansas. They got to get past us. And they're not going to.
Okay.
And it would shock me if they did get past us and won it. Like, knock me on the floor, like with a feather. Shock me. And winner is disgustingly, as I say this, the University of Houston.
Okay. I got my most likely to win it the same as Jeff. I'm with Houston. I picked Auburn to beat Houston in the national championship game, but I think Houston's playing better than Auburn right now. So I'm flipping that to the Houston side of things. I think they're the most likely to win it. I think the team that is least likely should make Chuck happy, and that is Purdue, a.k.a. because they have to play Houston coming up. And even if they win there, they would have to take either a number 2 or number 3 seed down just to get to the Final Four. So I think Purdue is the least likely to win it, just kind of looking at the matchup.
I tell you, I think another one that would shock people, and it would really put terrible taste in a lot of people's mouths is Ole Miss. I'd be shocked if Ole Miss made it to the national championship game and won it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chuck, because they'd have to beat a 2 and a 1, right, just to get to the Final Four.
Yeah,
so,
unless Michigan knocked off.
Yeah,
Auburn,
that's true. That's true. That's fair. Yep.
Which is possible. I mean, I wouldn't be that upset with a Michigan State final there.
No, that'd be fun.
In terms of the Elite Eight, but then I'd just be mad because Vlad Golden is playing for Michigan, and so is Namari Burnett, and I'd be like, "What are we doing?" I mean, I hate that Vlad Golden ran out of town, or maybe was told that it wasn't going to work here. Good for that young man, because he went to FAU and then went with that coach to Michigan, and he has thrived, Jamie. He has figured it out. So good on him, and I'm rooting for him to do well. But
yeah, you have to look at it, Chuck, is that if you had kept Golden and all that good stuff, you probably wouldn't have somebody that's on the roster.
Okay, well, I think would you trade Federico for Vlad Golden right now?
Fair
straight
enough.
Up.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's
fair enough.
That's because, and a lot of it's because of the size and what Vlad Golden can do inside for you. I mean, and his ability to get up and down the floor. I mean, and Federico he gets pushed around inside. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm looking at now. But you know what, Jamie? It will not. I guess in a way, it won't surprise me if Ole Miss beats Michigan State. I mean, that's a matchup of two coaches from the Final Four in 2019, because Tech beat Michigan State for the right to face Virginia in the national championship game. I'm rooting for Rick Barnes tomorrow night, because I want Tennessee to win, not at Tech's expense, but I'd love for him to get to a Final Four, because I think he's a class dude. And I think he's a guy that at UT, I think they both had decided that, you know what, it's not working, so we both need to kind of part ways and go on. And, as far as if I had my choices between Auburn and Houston in terms of the cheating coaches, I think Bruce Pearl got a bit of a raw deal at Tennessee versus what Calvin Sampson did at Oklahoma and at Indiana. What Bruce Pearl didn't do is tell the truth that he had a burger cookout, and he got penalized heavily for it. So I'm sure there were some other things that took place too, but if he just told the truth about the hamburger cookout with recruits, he probably wouldn't have lost his job at Tennessee and gotten put on probation.
Probably not. Mm-hmm.
But and in today's world, I mean, that's nothing. Compared to what's going on. So what Kelvin Sampson did, though, the thousands and thousands of texts, that was way above what any other coach was doing along those lines. I mean, he just flat out cheated. So, but I guess you're allowed to get better, aren't you? At the end of the day, in terms of today's games, I really don't have anybody that I'm rooting for other than Texas Tech. I mean, I'll root for the Big 12. I don't have a problem with BYU beating Alabama or Arizona beating Duke, but I mean, in terms of like coaches that have been there forever that kind of deserve to get in. I mean, the Duke guy, he's had tremendous pressure because he's walking in Mike Krzyzewski's shoes, and it's hard to replace the guy that did that. It's hard to replace a legend, right? And he seemingly has done that so far, right?
Yeah, he's done a good job, no doubt.
Yeah. And so usually it's the guy that replaces the guy that has the success, but not that. Somebody says this, would JT Toppin come if we had Vlad putting up 12 and 10 in the post? That's a good point. I don't know. I'd love to have found out.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's a busy sports day with lots happening with Texas Tech basketball, both the men and the women in action today. We've got opening day going on with the Rangers and the Astros, plus others, with the exception of the Los Angeles Dodgers and Chicago Cubs, who've already had their opening day in Tokyo. So no bunting for them. We'll have the broadcast today at 2 o'clock for the Rangers on Double T 97.3, 2:30 for the Houston Astros on 100.7 The Score. Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio and look forward to hearing from you continuously on the Yates Flooring Center chat line and the Visual Edge IT hotline. Jamie, I was thinking about this and I wanted to run this by you. And this is a serious question, and it is a sports question. Sometimes I have to qualify it when I ask those things. Do you think it is, of the three major sports, football, basketball, and baseball, and you're 7 years old or you're 8 years old and you're dreaming, like they ask you, what do you want to be? And some would say a fireman or a policeman, or some would say I want to be Jamie Lent. And others would say I want to be a professional athlete. Do you think that baseball is the hardest sport to get to the pros in terms of playing at the major league level?
Oh man.
Since I've had an opportunity to think about it, because I think it is, because when you're 8 years old, there are a million little league baseball teams. I mean, you talk about, all different kinds of levels, from just playing catch in the backyard or playing with your buddies or whatever. Because I think the process of elimination for basketball is pretty early. I mean, if you're not on your high school team, or if you're not playing AAU basketball, you're cutting yourself pretty quick. That doesn't mean that you're not hooping it up in the gyms and intramurals and stuff like that. And then for football, again, once you get to the college ranks, it's still a very small percentage, but the process of elimination. But I think even at the college level, today, because of the development and what's going on, my guess is there's more guys coming out of college to play Major League Baseball than what we had 20 or 30 years ago. But I still think it is extremely difficult. And somebody says basketball because of the roster size, and that's a given. But I'm just talking about 8 years old, you're dreaming. I think baseball is the hardest one to go from being 8 to getting into the major league roster, to getting on a major league roster.
Yeah, that's really hard to say. I think the texter who's talking about basketball because of their smaller rosters, I think that's completely legit. So that would make sense if you made it basketball. Man, it feels like baseball and basketball have so many, baseball with the minor leagues, basketball with the G League, and then so many teams playing so many guys playing overseas, all those teams there. They have an advantage over football where there's not that much of that. And I know we have Chuck's favorite spring leagues now. And I think I would tend to think that football is the most difficult.
Well, and I get that, but it's so, what's interesting to me is when a guy makes a major league roster, it just seems like there's more people involved, because you see these emotional, phone calls to mom or dad or grandma, or like what the Astros did with one of their players, where this guy makes the roster and they bring in his family. I mean, you don't see that in the NBA, and you don't see that in pro football. And that's what makes me feel like that the effort to go from 8 years old to 22 or 25 or 19, whatever age you are, it just seems to me like the effort to go from that to that is higher in baseball than it is in the other sports.
I think that stuff that you're talking about there is magnified in baseball because of the cinema of baseball. I mean, for the most part, everybody that's making an NFL roster is doing it at the same time. Guys aren't getting called up in the middle of the season to come play defensive back for somebody. They make the roster at the beginning of the year. They know they're on the team, okay? And they're going to play. So you're not getting that, here's, Jimmy's parents in the crowd. They flew him in for the game because he was working at UPS, but all of a sudden they called him up to play for the Ravens. You just don't get that. They make the roster at the beginning of the season, and they go make the team. The drama and cinema of what you're talking about is something that baseball is known for, and it's something that truly I enjoy. It's part of the allure to it, but I think in the NBA and college, in the NFL, it's just you just don't have those moments as much. I guess it happens a little bit in the NBA where a guy would get called up from the G League to make a team, and he's going to play on a 10-day contract or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so he might get his chance, but I don't know. I just think it's different.
I love that phrase, and I may borrow that from you, the cinema of baseball. I think that was very well said, very eloquent way to put that, because there is a element of baseball that's very sentimental as well, that just goes back to the beginning of time, right? I mean, it's just, and that's different than football and maybe basketball to a certain degree, but I think baseball, because just of the origin of it and all those kinds of things. I don't know.
That's one of the things that I love about baseball, but it's the different sports and different ways they go about doing things or whatever. It's just, in baseball, it's, I think I would tell you that baseball probably has more guys that come from more well-to-do families because they've had to play so much travel ball to get to where they are. Football and basketball players, it's just different where they don't play. Obviously there's a lot of AAU basketball going on, and so there's travel involved in that. But if you're a great player, you're not having to pay for that. Mm-hmm. If
there's
you're
less equipment, obviously, in basketball.
Yeah, if you're a great player,
about the shoes and the ball, right?
Yeah, they come to find you to play for their team. You're not paying to play and all that kind of stuff. Where, and there's really none of that in football. You just go to camps or you get noticed because you're killing people on Friday nights in Texas high school football, right? Yeah. So it's just. I don't know. It's just they're different, but I think all three are extremely difficult to get to the professional ranks.
No question. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just something running through my head.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.